everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, Terrace House Podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I'm Robert Scarpanito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm,
Konbanwa,
Jack Cepeda,
Irashamase,
and Colin Sparling.
Hello, everybody. And there's one thing I got to kind of rush in here because there's something we need to talk about that happened in the past week.
Oh.
So our boy from Opening New Doors, one Yudai, I forget his last name already. That's how much I've forgotten. Adai. Yeah, Yudai Adai posted a picture on Instagram, and our boy's got a new tattoo, a new chest tattoo.
If there's ever a reason not to follow Terrace House people on Instagram, it's for this post alone. Like it hit me hard because as an enthusiast of tattoos myself, it just hit me in all the wrong places when I saw that photo. But go ahead and describe it, Colin. What exactly are we looking at here when you look at Yudai's tattoo on Instagram?
Are you on the scene?
I would just like to preface that if you're in Japan, you live in Japan, and you're getting tattooed by a native Japanese person, you probably want to make sure that they know a little bit about English grammar if you're getting English tattooed on you. Because our boy Yudai is now stuck for life with a tattoo that says "your," quote, spelling Y-O-U-R, "you're my angel." With wings on either end.
Not "you are my angel," you're my angel.
Like, that's "you're my angel." You know, that one over there, that's "you're my angel."
I would have
"you're my angel."
I would have been better if it was like fanciful and it was "your," like Y-O-R-E.
The angel of yore.
The angel of yore.
He was so close. Honestly, he could probably just fix it by taking out the "my" and just being like, "your angel."
Yeah.
And that's just how he, it's a name tag. It's how he introduces himself right across his collarbones.
You could cover that up with a chest piece. That is genius. That's the only way to get around that.
I think that's a good way to recover it. Yeah. In fact, actually, that's a really good. Do you want to send that to him? You should DM him.
The thing is though, is that all these complaints and corrections of the grammar have fallen on very deaf ears because,
of course,
people from the show are correcting him and being like, "Yudai, that's the wrong phrase," and he's like, "No. It's not. It's right."
Yeah, this is all on public, on Instagram comments. Even Yusuke from Aloha State, which I'm pretty sure he knows English because he lives in Hawaii, is telling him, "Hey, it's Y-O-U''re. It's possessive." And Yudai's like, "No, I got it right."
No, I mean, guys, it goes both ways. I'm just shocked and amazed at this because certainly in the States, we've all seen it. We've all gone to a Kentucky Fried Chicken now and then, and there's some guy that gets out of his Ford F-150 and he's got Chinese or Japanese characters going down the arm, and it says something like just
Crumpet.
broken ass. Yeah, just totally like the dumbest shit ever. Didn't Ariana Grande have something that said something stupid?
Yeah, it said Korean barbecue or something like that.
And she thought it said something else. So it happens both ways. It's like fascinating to me. And if you walk the streets of Tokyo, and I've heard, I've never done it personally, but there's plenty of clothing, of hats, of shirts that just say some broken ass English that doesn't make any sense at all. And that stuff sells.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
But it looks cool. It looks cool to them.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like their characters look cool to us.
That they Chris Broad, who is a travel vlogger in Japan, he's a dude from England who moved to Japan a few years ago, but he did an entire episode of just all about Japanglish. And he found so many. He just walked into a random store and found so many things. His favorite quote, he made t-shirts out of it, is "like a magic."
Yes.
and let's do a sex.
Yep.
It is magical though. I mean, this tattoo also, what is the concept of the tattoo? It's just crappy angel wings.
See,
on the side.
That's what I want to bring up, because I'm not sure. I imagine his point is he's trying to say, if you're reading this, "you're my angel," right? Is that kind of like a tramp stamp on your chest? Because it's kind of saying, everyone who sees me topless, "you're my angel." I like. Dude,
it totally could pass as a tramp stamp. Totally. Now that you say that.
What was his thought process behind getting this tattoo?
Well, look, I mean, he's getting a lot of tattoos, and it looks like he's definitely putting them together piecemeal. Like, if you look, like, I'm not recommending you look down by his waistline, but it's hard to miss. He's got like 3 or 4 just things just sitting there. It looks like he just got bored one day and walked into a shop and pointed to the wall and said, "I'll take one of those." But who knows, man?
That's what I'm thinking too. Like, we can't give him the credit that he thought this out.
You know,
I'm sorry, you died.
Alternatively, what I would love to see is maybe like near the bottom of his torso, he just has like an apostrophe and an E somewhere scattered down there. So it's kind of like the apostrophe and E fell off his main chest tattoo.
There's like an asterisk.
Yeah.
Like, actually, like it's the correction, but it's elsewhere on his body.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was fake. At least I was hoping that it was fake, and he just put it up there. Like, hey, look, I got these temporary tattoos. Check me out on Instagram. And it seems like, at least how ardently he's defending it, that probably it's not fake, which is just like big old yikes there. Yow.
You're telling me the tattoos don't have autocorrect?
No, they don't.
One day in the future.
I feel like that was you guys like thought he's like, shit, gotta double down on this. Just like he doubled down thinking that he was a cook.
Everything, dude. No regrets, right? No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Here's the thing. I wish
Not even a single letter.
I wish he got this tattoo like 2 years ago. Because could you imagine if this was on the show and you just meet him for the first time and it's like, oh, this kid's kind of weird. Like, he sniffs onions. He thinks he's a cook. That's fine, whatever. And the first like pool scene, he takes off his shirt. Everyone looks at it and everyone's like, I'm sorry. Did you misspell your?
Wait,
your?
I'm sorry?
Then he said it.
Yeah. Some of them would never know, like, you know, but Shion would know.
100%.
Shion would be like, huh?
Yeah, like, oh,
Excuse
bro.
me.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's the thing about Japan that we learned too. Colin, you and I are friends. Shout out to JJ. We met him at PAX, but like,
right.
he was explaining how everyone
Shout out
takes
you.
English in Japan, but like by the time you get out of school, it's like no one really uses it. Like you see these travel vlogs like, oh, don't worry, you can get by in Tokyo. And to his experience anyways, he's like, don't depend on everyone to know English, because it's not really quite like that.
Oh
is
yeah,
what we
because
hear.
because they don't feel like they need it, so they don't use it. But yeah, shout out to JJ. What a cool guy, man.
Yeah, JJ,
he's got
you're
stories.
my angel.
There,
My
your
darling angel.
Thanks. Yo, it too. What the fuck? Anyway, let us talk about what's my real angel, which is episode 2 of Tokyo 2019-2020. The Tempura Incident.
There's already an incident, y'all.
Already. Episode 2. This is
it's too
40
soon
minutes
for an incident, guys.
just 40 minutes into your Tokyo 2020 experience.
Guess what? though?
Drama.
Guess what, everybody? It wasn't the first incident that happened in this house. I'm hitting y'all with a curveball right now. I found out through the grapevine, the Reddit sleuths are on it, and this house has actually been used before in adult entertainment.
No.
That's amazing.
Whoa.
Okay, all right, hold on.
Whoa.
It's real. You can Google this.
Okay,
it's
wait.
Real.
That's what the rest of this episode is going to be about, Jack. Please elaborate.
It's I
Is
guess
it all the same furniture?
It's a. Get the Febreze, please.
Please tell me they
but-
laid down some tarps or some towels.
I don't know,
or-
but you can definitely check out some adult entertainment if it is so in your nature to do so. And there are some in Terrace House. I don't have the titles. I'm not going to give away the titles to the movies. You can Google this on your own, but I just want to drop this little dank nug in the show. But it's real. I mean, they've used it before. It's been on film, which kind of makes sense now because why the pool is set up as it is. And you can imagine the setup underneath the stars or the rooftop terrace.
Well, so it's the people who sit on the couch get to watch people fuck in the pool.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
That's the TV in this house.
Thank you, Reddit, for this.
But let's get into the actual episode. We start off with the panel as we always do. We're back. We're back at it. This feels great, by the way. Just like being able to talk about New Terrace House again. And the panelists are all like, yeah, Kaori's very sweet and very gentle, but also, oh shit, drama is brewing. Not of the adult kind, but there is drama so far. And one of my favorite quotes from this spot so far is Yama. He said something along the lines of how Risako will need to scale the walls to find love. I feel like that's just very...
Like, I imagine her like doing flips like and then landing on someone on the other side.
Yeah. Or it's like Assassin's Creed, like you just climb up, grab onto windowsill after windowsill to find love at the rooftop.
I'll bet she can do that
I've
stuff.
been surprised so far that she's not been like everyone's like, oh, she's really cute, because she is. She's super cute.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, she's definitely very what's the word that Taka would use? Gyaru. I think she definitely comes across as the Gyaru type.
Very Gyaru and
she
Genki.
wears like the colored contacts and nails and such.
Yep.
She seems very motivated.
So she is wearing colored contacts.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is definitely confirmed, because there was last episode at the very end there when like everyone had already like taken their baths and gotten ready for bed, and she had her contacts out and her makeup off, and she was, you know, I'm not to be the one to be like, oh, you look so much better without makeup. It's like, you look equally as good, but like she was really cute without makeup too.
For sure. But as we dive into the actual episode itself, we start things off in the living room, where Risako is making meal plans. Like, she's actually calculating calories, doing the whole fitness trainer thing. And it's like, I'm so glad that one of the first scenes we're seeing in this episode is of someone doing work and not of someone trying to bone down.
Bone down, tongue down, verbiage.
It's always down.
It's great.
Yeah, we ended with someone getting asked
Never
out
up.
in the last one, so this makes sense. You got to contrast it.
Very much so.
Yeah, so she's doing diet plans, and is this the scene where Kenny is showing off his bus?
Yeah.
Kenny walks in.
Okay.
Kenny walks in, says "Ohio," and then they sit down, and finally whips out his phone, and my star of the show, the short bus, comes out.
It does.
And I'll take it in phone form if I have to, but damn it, I need to see this bus in action. I need to see the Jesus blanket. The Jesus blanket needs to make an appearance. I love this bus.
You know what I was surprised about too is how Haruka actually was excited about it. She came off like, "Oh man, I kind of want to see this bus." I expected her to fully be like, "How long does it take to get to 60? Fucking 4 minutes, Grandpa."
Scoffing, yeah.
That is that. Yeah, but that's a 10-second car. Anyway,
and it all kind of started. They started talking about vehicles because Haruka has a race, right? She has a drag race, and they're like,
Right.
"Oh, they didn't really understand." And they showed her.
That
she
was
showed the Corvette.
so fun.
yeah. So they
Such
had
a fun
to.
scene.
Yeah, they had to explain. She had to explain what drag racing was. I wasn't aware that drag racing was just not really a thing in Japan, or at least not famously. You know, because here in the U.S., it's like drag races are a thing you go to and you attend them.
I didn't know it was
especially in the
attributed.
Midwest.
Yeah, I didn't know it was attributed to American style drag racing. It's just drag racing here, But I guess it makes sense because you have American muscle cars. You've got, and Tokyo Drift is a thing for a reason because, those cars tend to drift a lot.
Right.
I thought it was.
Go ahead, Daly.
I thought it was interesting though that the misunderstanding was that it was like, oh, so you're like going to go watch, and she's like, no, I'm like going to go race, and they're like, you're driving one of the cars, and she's like, yeah, I'm driving my car. I'm in
my
the race.
car, not one of the cars, my fucking car.
My car. Yeah.
Yes, I like that too. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, it
Subvert
kind of
those expectations.
It's like that subtle sexism a little bit, like, "Oh, but you're a woman, you don't drive." But she's like, bitch, here's my Corvette
Like
from
she's like,
the year."
"Oh, you're just going to go watch. You're gonna go. Who you cheering on?" Like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah, and it's a manual shift. No, but this conversation though is a little funny because so Haruka, of course, is talking about the Corvette and drag racing and stuff, and then Kenny brings up the short bus, shows off the bus. She's like, "Oh man, I'd love to drive that," and he's like, "Yeah, it's super slow. It takes like forever to get up to speed." But you will notice that he goes out of his way to admit the fact that he lives in that fucking short bus. He just sidesteps it.
He's
But
like, this is my house.
but he will say there is a bed in there though.
Wait, did he
Wink,
say
wink.
that?
No, but I'm just saying, like, I'm getting some vibes, especially because
Can we stop having the bus be the fuck bus?
the bus has always been the fuck bus and will always be
bus.
the fuck bus. I'm just saying,
Fuck you, bus.
this episode, I'm getting some vibes that maybe Haruka might eventually see the fuck bus. If you know what I mean?
We'll see. I hope the bus comes into play. I'm gonna keep ringing that bell.
Oh, for
Bring
sure.
the bus back.
But also in this scene, Risako asks Kenny if he's quick to anger, I believe is the phrasing she used. And I think part of that was attributed to just how he acted the day before in episode 1, right? Like, I got some vibes that maybe when he was saying, "Oh, dozo, yeah, go check out our room, whatever," it kind of put her off a bit, you know. And
that was my impression of Risako when she was talking to him, because she was scared to like have any kind of conversation. She had that piece of paper, remember, like right in front of her face, and she was like mumbling, and I was like, she's like, oh, we just noticed that you're kind of holding your cards close to your chest.
Oh, I remember that now. It's like she was very anxious about asking him about him putting up emotional walls, I guess, or being very aloof.
And it's like day 2.
Yeah, and I don't know. I never really got the vibe that I think Kenny was just kind of, getting used to being around these people he just met. And so he kind of had to, I don't know, become more comfortable around them. So,
it comes up when he talks to his band, right? I'm not trying to jump ahead too much, but it's just like, who wouldn't be guarded on day 1?
Yeah, they're all strangers.
To me, that seems a little weird.
And on camera.
Yeah.
That they would say he seems too guarded on day 1. Like, it's day 1. Like, let the dude unpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, chill. Yeah, just chill.
So, I don't know. I think it was a little odd for Risako to bring that up, right? But they don't really make a big deal out of it. And I think Kenny reacted well. He didn't react very, close. Like, he didn't close up more. He just was like, oh, hey, well, it's still early, we can still hang out. We can still figure things out. So, yeah, I think
he handled it well. I agree.
Yeah, overall, so far, no bad blood from what I'm seeing. We cut to Murasaki Sports in Harajuku, where we get to see Haruka's "Hey, I have a job" montage. He just does work.
He talks to a girl.
He does,
and he's not.
He doesn't
dying
blush
inside.
too hard.
No, I thought he was still like smiling like a mofo, like maybe because he was just talking about the other girls in the house.
Maybe,
but he was definitely smiley glad hands.
He was talking about how cute all the girls were in the house.
Yeah,
with his girl coworker.
Yeah, I wonder how long it took him to acclimate, is that the right word, with this girl that he works with, to the point where he can actually look her in the eyes and talk about just things, like anything. Acclimate. Weather.
I will say too,
6 months.
I think he had 6 straight months.
So do you like
skateboards?
You like lamp?
I like lamp.
Jazz.
So I will say though, he's 20, right?
Yeah.
That's a cool job to have where he is. He's in Harajuku at this pretty fashionable sports apparel retail place. I would have loved to have a job like that when I was young.
Oh yeah, that's a trendy ass job to have.
Yeah, it's cool.
His age,
cool location,
and where he is.
Good for him.
Yeah, but I wonder how much it translates to his job, the whole red face thing. Like if he's a cashier or something, or if he's just like talking to someone.
What happens when a girl like asks him how much something?
Yeah, like
maybe they come for that. They're like, he's adorable.
Maybe.
Let's go ask him questions and watch him blush.
And he just like looks at his feet. I don't know, maybe like 40,000 yen. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh man.
But then we also cut to Ikejiri in Tokyo, where Kaori is working. They don't tell us where she works from what I remember, which I guess kind of makes sense. But it's her whole work montage, and we get to see a little bit of where she went to school and that she worked at an IT company, which props to her for not bragging about it. Like she was just, oh yeah, I used to work at a company, but now I'm an illustrator.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's mentioned later in the panel that like the university she graduated from is like a top university. It's like a big deal.
Yeah, KO.
And yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And I really liked getting to see her workspace too. I noticed she has a Netflix mug on her desk. And I'm wondering, did she get that when she found out she was going to Terrace House? Did they give that to her? Was that part of the welcome package?
The
I really hope she was just like, hey, so like I have this thing for mugs. Do you guys or even better, she goes to our audition, goes into the Netflix Japan office,
steals it,
just
swipes
like
the mug.
Just swipe.
Like I don't know
right
if I'll
off
ever
of
get this
someone's
chance
desk
ever again. And she takes it. So
I need this for my pens.
I noticed that she doesn't have a lot of pens, but I noticed she had a cool image of Freddie Mercury on the wall. That was pretty cool. But yeah, and she studied abroad, right? At like University of Paris or something like that. But her resume is mad impressive. She's like an overachiever, it would seem. And she's very emotionally intelligent, very mature, very measured. It seems like this is early, but it's looking good.
That's the thing. She's so modest about it, right? Because she could totally be the type to be like, oh, back when I was in Paris, I learned that the French people do this, this, and that, and like, bring up all kinds of shit that has nothing to do with anything, but just to show off how worldly and smart she is. But she doesn't. She just kind of comes off as like, yeah, I'm here to live in the house with y'all and have fun.
We also learn here they wait till about second episode now to kind of reveal how far removed people are from their previous relationships, right? So didn't they say it wasn't about 4 months for her? It wasn't long.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I think it was 4 months.
Yeah,
I could be wrong though.
It's always interesting to see. I always wonder, like, how much is that going to affect, like, how ready people are for new relationships?
Right.
Yeah, 4 months is not a long time.
But
I think she was in a relationship. Was it 4 years?
Something like
is
that.
it? I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
So she's in a
4 years sounds right. Do you know?
So
Dylan?
she's 4 months removed from a 4-year relationship.
No,
I think
no,
so.
Maybe.
That I'm not sure about because that was from her intro interview, right? That she said she's only had 2 relationships. One of them was really long. The other one I don't remember. So,
Okay.
You know,
Well, either way, no matter how you slice it, 4 months removed from a relationship, I was at least, it was longer than a year. So point being, 4 months removed from a relationship is not long.
Interesting. We'll see if it plays into anything.
it's long enough though. I mean, even though she's not here for love, you're on Terrace House. You know, like other people are going to come to the house with expectations, right? So
Like the expectations that our boy Shohei has.
yeah, our boy Shohei is thirsty. We'll get to that later, but
AF.
but
An unquenchable thirst.
let's cut to the kitchen with Kaori and Haruka, where Haruka's teaching Kaori how to make a little, what is it, natto casserole thing? A natto
Dude,
curry
that looked
baked
good.
casserole.
Yeah, what
Give
the
me
hell
some
was
meat
that?
and some rice and some gravy and some veggies and melt some square cheese on top.
Oh yeah, it
I
looks
was like,
great.
yes.
But they also actually talk about Shohei, and Haruka's like, "Oh, has Shohei talked to you since he asked you out?" And apparently not
She's
yet.
looking for pearls. She's looking for pearls, like of wisdom, little.
Yeah. But they both do agree that Shohei is probably one of the easier guys to talk to. But again, it's still early. Let's see how things go, right? Kenny walks in. They all remark that he has a haircut. But I feel like in this scene, he's extra shy. You know? Maybe part of it is the whole, like, he just got a new haircut. Maybe he didn't like it. I think maybe also Risako asking him, hey, do you get mad easy? Probably kind of made him very self-conscious.
He's definitely cognizant of the fact that both the guys and the girls, everyone in the house is telling him that he seems fake. I'm not sure if that was the word, but it seems too guarded.
Yeah.
Right now.
Fake was the word.
Was it? Okay. That's
Yeah,
gotta
he
be
doesn't
rough.
make himself seem approachable, but I think he opens up after the ending of this episode. Like,
Oh yeah, this, I mean, even just this like encounter in the kitchen was super approachable. You know, he was kind of like, they were like, "Oh, your bangs look good straight," and he was like, "Oh, really? Thank you." And you know, sitting down and eating with everyone.
The way he took that compliment when he was like looking in the fridge or some counter or some cabinet or something, it reminded me very much of Taka's body language from
Yeah.
I got that a lot from that.
I could see that. But he does work the room here. He sits down to eat with them. He talks with Kaori kind of at length about their art and, you know, what kind of stuff does she use? What kind of software does she use? They throw around the words like Illustrator and Photoshop, and I'm like, how much you have to pay Adobe to say those things? I'm very curious.
And he,
Oh my gosh.
But-
and
I had a theory that was confirmed here after seeing his Instagram and seeing some of his pictures. It's like all, you know, those beach babes, including the one that was mid shirt take off.
Under boob.
What he does is he takes like photos from Instagram, etc., and he kind of like colors them in a digital program.
Yeah. He trains
on a tablet.
So
i.e., Illustrator.
so he's not really making them from scratch, which I'm not like shaming him for that, but I just had wondered because of the way that the images look. They look traced, and that's what he's doing.
It seems
versus
fun,
like the
yeah.
from scratch that Kaori does.
Yeah, it seems like he's just treating it like you said, like a coloring book. It's more like that for him. He's just kind of like filling it in and just stylizing it. Seems like a fun hobby
Yeah.
to do.
But
You know, when you're bored.
and here's just another example of Kaori being kind of maybe the best person in the house, where she doesn't look down on him or anything for tracing, or the fact that, yeah, maybe he's not as good at art as she is, but she's still like, oh, cool, I still love to see your work sometime, you know? Like, she's such a positive force, right? Very encouraging.
Yeah. And they
Yeah,
were
you have-
also... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you have this back and forth between Kenny and Kaori going, and everyone else is kind of left in the dust. You know,
Well,
Haruka's like,
yeah.
you guys are like, you lost me.
Actually, they were being really like considerate. I feel like they're like, oh, I'm sorry, are you not able to follow this? She's like, no, it's fine, continue.
Yeah,
but
just an old grandma.
You bring up a good point. You bring up a good point, Colin, because like the story not being told here, like the unspoken thing happening at this table is that Kenny and Kaori are kind of bonding on this. And then I'll never forget one of my favorite parts of this whole episode. The camera cuts to Haruka and the gears are spinning like crazy because she sees what's happening here and she's like, oh man, they're bonding. Like, oh man, Kaori's already been bonding with Shohei. Like, what's going on here? She gets like this almost like, I don't know if I'd say frustrated desperation or whatever, but she just kind of blurts out all of a sudden like, hey, teach me guitar.
It comes out of nowhere.
Kenny. Yeah,
It was
like,
kind of out of nowhere.
whoa.
It was like she was trying to like pull attention away from Kaori. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it was that drastic. To me, it wasn't. But it was definitely out of the blue. I will
The
agree.
gears are spinning.
She doesn't want to be left behind.
Yeah, exactly.
The camera lingered on her for a while, and you could see her eyebrows like moving, like, "Oh God, do something, guitar!"
Right, and
do
then
it.
we see probably the most frightening shot in this entire episode. I mean that in the nicest way, but she
Yikes.
puts up her hand with the smallest pinky I've ever seen, and it's not like her whole hand is small. It's just her hand is the fingers are all what you'd expect, but then the pinky is like half the size.
It's a human-sized pinky or hand with like a smaller pinky on
like a
it,
baby
but
pinky.
everything else is
Yeah.
fine.
Like you kind of expect your pinky to go like up to the last or the first, I guess, knuckle of your ring finger, but hers was like almost down to like the middle knuckle.
Yeah,
And
Like that's
well,
how
she's-
short it was.
I will ask
she was
everyone
missing like
here.
a third of her pinky.
I want to ask everyone here who did not hold up their hand and look and check how short their pinky was. No, when that happened. I know everyone did it.
I'd like to say I didn't, but I did.
If you did it, leave a comment seriously, because I know other people out there were doing it too. But
That's like, hey, do you know if you hold up your face and your palm is bigger than your face, you have cancer?
and then you do it.
Y'all, I've been tricked that way. How dare you?
guys in my school, they're total jerks, but they used to go up to naive girls and say, hey, if you can touch your elbows behind your back, it's like means you're really smart or something like that. And it's not a cool trick.
I get it.
Not a
That's
cool
stupid.
trick.
It's not as cool as a short pinky.
Back to the hand, though, they do say like there are certain characteristic traits. I'm not saying I believe in any of this stuff, but like, you know, palm reading or whatever, if you do that, I'd like to know more about it. But they'll say there's different traits. If your ring finger is like longer than your index finger or vice versa, it means XYZ. I don't know. That stuff's kind of crazy.
So do you think if you have a shorter pinky, you're going to be into Corvettes and golf?
If you have a shorter pinky,
Yes,
there's got to be some advantages,
exactly.
maybe to reaching the shifter a little faster.
Guys, the obvious explanation here is she was a part of the Yakuza and left, and so they cut off part of her pinky.
That makes
She
sense.
does like cigars and cognac, so maybe they took the cigar snipper thing.
The cigar cutter.
Yeah, to initiate her into the group. Oh, dude.
Back
my
to
God.
reality.
Yeah.
We know that
I've been
the
playing too much Yakuza, guys. Help.
The whole reason she brings up the pinky thing is because she's like, I can't reach a certain note
Chord.
on the guitar.
Yeah, the F chord.
And she wasn't lying.
Yeah. So they actually cut to the living room here where Kenny's actually teaching Haruka guitar. And Kenny's just marveling at like, wow, yeah, your pinky is like seeing it in practice probably is just like frightening, right? It's kind of like, oh man, wow, your pinky is actually incredible. Like, what did you do? Were you in the Yakuza? He even goes as far as to suggest a mini guitar, and I thought, is that just a
A
uke?
ukulele. A uke.
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
uke. I
uke.
think is what he meant
No,
to say.
well,
yeah.
no. Well, there is.
There are like kid guitars.
Yeah, they're short scale guitars, is what they're called.
Yeah.
Or guys, drums, bongos,
Drums.
maybe
Singing.
might help.
Just skip
Yeah.
out on this
Yeah.
instrument entirely.
Or just
Or only
avoid
play
songs.
chords that don't require a pinky.
Exactly. Don't. Yeah. Just exactly. Just play power chords. Maybe. I don't know guitar that much.
I feel like
But,
you need a pinky for power chords.
You don't.
Okay.
She knows enough though to, or has enough pinky ability, I guess, because she was like, oh, I can play Country Roads.
Yeah, which
And
that's cool.
I wanted like the full, like, let's sing it, let's jam, Country Roads, take me home.
This,
I was like, Todd Howard, is that you? Where? Hello.
I wanna take the tone down just a little bit, guys, because Kaori knew what was happening here. She was sitting on the couch. She was like, "This is getting a little flirty here. I'm gonna excuse myself, go upstairs." And this is one of the first scenes of T20 where I'm like, "Wow, they're really changing up the pace and cadence of Terrace House for this," because it was slow, it was quiet, it was peaceful, it was poignant. There was a lot of unspoken flirting going on here. It was really nice scene, and I struggle to think of many scenes where they would have lingered on this for as long as they did, and I really appreciated it. I don't know, it was a good change of pace here for what I come to know of Terrace House. I mean, we're coming off the sock incident, we're coming off all this other bullcrap. So maybe that's why I'm sensing a big kind of a scene change here. But I really appreciated it. And it was like a quiet moment. And it's something that I thought was just really pleasant to watch. Anyone else?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. It's nice to have scenes in the show, even though like we already know what happens at the end of this episode. But regardless, we're generally just getting shots of people living together, which is what Terrace House is people that live together. Mm-hmm. And it feels like more centered around the living than just what the potential drama or love interest there could be.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a moment. And we find out that Haruka, when she goes back and talks to Kaori, Haruka thought it could have been a moment too. I mean, they basically got a date together. It was pretty smooth.
Yeah, Haruka brings up that she has a friend who's going to be playing a show this Sunday. And Kenny kind of invites himself, but it was definitely one of those moments where you would know, like, oh, she's saying this because we're going to this together.
She wanted him to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was just overall like a nice experience. Definitely like they're kind of meeting in the middle, mutual agreement to like, let's go out on a date. And they kind of turn it into a day-long thing. Like, hey, are you busy before the show? Let's go grab lunch or dinner.
Yeah, and Kenny also is feeling just a touch of maybe a little bit of guilt just because he knows how Ruka feels. Right, not enough guilt to not say anything, but he comes back later. He's like, "Hey, I just want to be forthcoming with this. Where I'm going out with the girl you like."
Right, and Ruka took it fine. I mean, it's hard to read him. He's always smiling, and not in like a fun way, but in a way that kind of reminds me of the Joker, which isn't great.
Oh, dang!
So I'm a little worried.
I do imagine his cheeks hurt at the end of the day.
For sure.
Yeah, I wonder if his mom like ever told him that fairy tale of like, if you smile too hard, then your face will be stuck that way.
Oh my gosh, one day's like, how I got these scars. But it wasn't great news, right? He didn't love the news they're going out, but also I think he was mature about it.
Yeah, he didn't take it like, well, fuck you, man. You knew I liked her and all that. He didn't do that. So that was cool.
Ma.
Yeah, ma.
And,
he didn't pull a show act.
He and Haruka kind of got a moment together, regardless, like directly afterward.
Yeah.
Because he comes home and she's like, oh, I'll show you, like how you put the cheese on the casserole and cook it up in this little dish. And I got to say, for someone that's like desperately embarrassed around girls, that was pretty smooth because they were like both using the oven at the same time, and, like talking to each other very close.
Right. But what they didn't show is the 2-hour-long like compression session afterwards where Ruka just needed a moment to himself. Breathe in, breathe out. I did it. I stood next to a girl for like an hour.
He just had to like meditate on the idea of being around a girl. Yep. He's just like, just focus. You're okay.
Deep breathing exercise. Deep breathing.
Yeah, get that blood back down into my body.
Your other organs
instead of my head.
Yikes. Yeah. Yikes.
But yeah, so that was a good scene, and it was a very like nothing's happening here scene, but I'm okay with it. It's just a bunch of people living together. People cooking together to make dinner. Kenny sitting there in the living room texting people. Like it was just they're living, right?
Living. Terrace House.
Cohabitating.
And then we cut to the panel where none of them, much like Colin said earlier, none of them seem to know what drag racing is. They kind of like pick at it and they kind of describe around what drag racing is without actually getting to the point.
It's pretty simple. Step on the pedal.
Yeah.
Two cars line up next to each other, And when the light turns green, they go down a 1/4 mile track.
Yes.
And see
Gotta
who
go
gets there.
fast.
Yeah.
Who gets at the end first.
Yeah, you gotta take your life 1/4 mile at a time.
And I was going to say, everyone's seen Fast and Furious, at least the first one, which is like the longest 1/4 mile in the history of the world. If you ever watch that first drag race in Fast and Furious, it's like a 2-minute thing.
Yeah.
Which normally should be 11 seconds.
Yes. And this is also where they praise Kaori for going to KO, and she's very modest, like we've been saying here too as well. We cut now to the girls' room where it's Kaori, Haruka, Ruka, and Kenny. And this is their first time for the boys. This is their first time seeing the girls' room with the weird T-shaped bed that I still think is frightening. And they
cool.
Guys liked it. They thought
like
it was cool.
Sure. But they all also liked Kaori's art, and they were all kind of looking through it, picking at it. This is where we get to hear that Kaori has a moniker called Fox Co. And I love the little story behind it, where basically she was a fan of Tiffany & Co. and would go by Fox & Co. But then at her job, they wouldn't allow her to have a side company, which was what Fox & Co. would look like. So she just shortened it to Fox Co. And I'm like, that's good.
That is a common practice, too, if you notice. Definitely in the video game industry. I imagine probably other industries this bleeds out as well, too. But a lot of people will have fake names as their credit. Because when you have a job in Japan, it's kind of accepted like that's your one job, that's your career, that's the company you work for your whole life. You're not allowed to have extra side gigs, but still people somehow in a country where they're working 80 hours a week already want to do even more. And so that's the way to branch out, is to have that alias, that Banksy, so to speak.
Yeah. That's who Kaori is. Kaori's Banksy.
Kaori's Banksy. We figured it out,
my
guys.
gosh.
We did it. We figured it out.
Guys are about to break the internet.
Oh, no.
I believe it.
Oh,
I believe it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's cool. I didn't know that her pen name was Foxco, but it's a cute name, and I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it too.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
A little close to Foxcom, but I digress.
Yeah. But no, she says she's going to be showing off some of her art soon at a cafe. And then Kenny takes this opportunity to mention, oh, I'm also doing a show at Golden Week at a cafe near the beach. Please be excited and come.
Yes.
Please come.
Yep.
Please come. Please. I need people.
Please enjoy my spicy soul.
It's so small.
I need ears on my
every
music.
time I hear his band's name, I'm always just like, okay. And then I see the spelling, and then I'm like,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the boys' room, and I think this is the first time we see Shohei, is it? Maybe?
Yes.
Shohei was AWOL.
Yeah.
He was
In this
MIA
episode.
most of the
Guys,
episode.
he's
until
got
this
too
point.
many things he's got to get awesome at.
True.
That's what he's doing.
True. But he's not going to master any of them, though, because there's no point in that.
And he's mastered them all. That's the thing.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Shohei seems a little jealous that Ruka and Haruka got to make dinner. I wish I was there for that, right? But I'm like, well, fuck you. Go live at home. Live in the house that you live in for a little bit then.
Stand
your life.
in the place that you live.
Oh, stop.
Thanks. And this is also where Kenny confesses to Ruka and says, hey, I'm going out on a date with Haruka. Just heads up.
Yes.
And then
So you know.
yeah, just so you know. And then we cut to the girls' room, and this is where we see only Haruka and Kaori, which I'd like to take this point a moment and say Risiko's kind of out of the picture too, kind of this whole episode.
Man.
For most of it,
Yeah.
right?
She's busy.
Yeah.
She's at work. We see her there. That's kind of
Yeah, she's climbing
later.
stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I climbed like 3 buildings today.
I climbed like 6 stairs.
To be clear, though, we do know that parkour is her job. Like, she's not being paid to scale buildings and do flips.
Yeah, no, it's not her job.
She teaches exercise classes.
She's
She's kind of like a bit of a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
She, corrects everyone, walks around, and is like, up, you too. Get it up
Yeah.
there. Come on.
You know what?
though?
I'm sure she does I'm sure she works really hard, but I'm also sure that she was probably a little bit more strict when the cameras were around. And they're like, man, this workout's way harder now because Terrace House is here. Is probably what her,
I can see that. I
her,
also got a little
class was
bit
saying.
of like a Napoleon vibe because she's shorter, right? So like she needs to make up for the height with more authority.
Be more forceful.
Yeah.
She seems like a good leader.
Oh.
She seems like she knows what she's talking about too.
For sure. Yeah. But in the girls' room with Haruka and Kaori, Haruka's kind of smitten over the fact that, like, there's a guy in the house who can teach me guitar. That makes me so happy. And Kaori's just like, yeah, that's why I left the living room to give you guys.
Like,
That's why I left.
She's like, I can't remember the exact wording, but she's like, wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't you be swooned by that? And Kaori's like, I don't really care that much about guitar. Big deal,
Yeah.
big whoop. And then Haruka's like, oh well, I'm embarrassed now.
Yep.
Because she's kind of showing her cards. But I mean, it's kind of working its way out. I mean, by the end of this episode, we'll get there. But Cupid's arrows are starting to point in very definitive directions.
Yeah, I feel like some major wheels. This is like setting it up for like the next 2 or 3 episodes.
At least.
We're gonna start seeing some stuff.
I'm excited to see where it goes. But the girls do also remark that at this point, Kenny does seem a lot more, like just in general, just a lot more easygoing. So I think maybe he's starting to, feel his place in the house, which is nice.
It is. Yeah. I'm glad that he becomes more comfortable around the rest of the housemates.
For sure.
I have a feeling after the end of this episode, he's going to emerge as the more mature.
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 Full-bodied like a fine wine. So now we cut to Sound Studio Noah. Kind of weird, sure. In Shimokitazawa, Tokyo, with Kenny and his whole band Spicy Show, where this is now Kenny's I have a job montage, right?
Real quick, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, is it seriously pronounced Spicy Soul?
I believe it's just
that's how I keep hearing it. It's Spicy Soul.
Spicy Soul.
It's spicy, right? It's pronounced like that, right?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say for native Japanese speakers, but I think it's just supposed to be like English Spicy Soul.
Spicy Soul. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Romaji definitely would be hard to say.
Right. But here we learn, he's been single for 3 months, and this is where he tells his bandmates, hey, everyone in the house thinks I'm kind of fake, which is weird because, like, we've only been there for 1 day. Get off my nuts.
Yeah.
I loved the sass from his bandmates. Like, the one guy was just like, oh, the guys said it too? Oh, they're just trying to get in good with the girls.
Trying to sabotage you is what he said.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think Kenny had his head on straight. He's like, nah, I don't see Shohei as being that type. I say the jury's still out on that. We'll see. But yeah, I think he's still just trying to navigate Terrace House, right? Like, you got to get along with the dudes. You got to, get to know the girls a little bit better. So he knows he's on camera too. And he knows that everyone's going to see this. So I don't think he's ready quite yet on day 2 to disparage anyone.
Right. We're saving that for episode 14. Specifically episode 14.
Let's go.
Bookmark it.
Okay, but yeah, seriously, like, let's get our predictions out now. 14, someone's going to disparage someone.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Honestly, I foresee out of this group major drama at some point.
Really? Out of this group?
I feel like Ruka and Shohei would be at the center of it, and Haruka would stoke the flames, if I had to guess.
I'm thinking Haruka and Risako. Like Yama. I'm with Yama on that.
Well, see, I think Haruka, no matter what, is going to be the one who's angry, right?
Why do we all feel that way? She's getting compared to Fuyumi already.
Yes.
She kind of looks like her a little bit. Like, everyone feels like that's where the fulcrum of disdain is going to come from. And
I mean,
Natsumi was already name dropped.
She's at the center of our incident of this episode that we're building up to.
She is. So let's start fast forwarding to get to that, right? So we also go through Risako's I Have a Job montage where she drill sergeants her way through a workout session. And then we get to the living room or the kitchen with Shohei and Kaori where they're working on some food. And this is the point where, again, this is like the second time we see Shohei in the episode, but he finally cements with Kaori like, hey, so I asked you out. Are you still into that? Are you free Saturday? Let's do something on Saturday. So they have a day set, right? So,
and then he proceeds to spend the next 45 minutes torpedoing himself as a character.
That sounds gross.
See, the thing was that I was actually
language.
I was charmed for the first time by him in this scene because he was like, it was like, oh, how much of like this ingredient do I put in? And he's like, oh, this much. And it's like, really? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to eyeball it.
I don't know. It's not exact science. And it's just like, you sounded so confident.
Yeah, I mean, they had good chemistry, right? Kaori asked him, hey, when's the last, like, have you had Japanese food since you got here? And he's like, no. And then she's kind of joking around like, oh, well, I guess I can't mess this up now, and for your sake.
Did they make that dish?
Good bants.
Did they make that dish that he said that he needs to go to Chinatown for the special ingredient in episode 1? Is that what they made here?
Lurufan? No, they made nikujaga here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could
Which is just meat and potatoes.
Meat and taters.
Simple.
Same.
Delicious.
It's like a soup.
So then Haruka enters the room, and they all start drinking some Asahi, which brand sponsor placement right there.
They really could.
Yeah, and Shohei mentions that he has an audition for a detective drama. I don't think he said what role he's going for. I kind of hope it's the detective though.
Detective is.
I
What if he's just the victim, like laying on the ground, like the dead body?
We need you to
I
just
was
sit
hoping
there.
he was going to be Detective Pikachu.
Oh, I don't know. I want to see him like, detective getup, overcoat, the police badge, beanie, just beanie right on the head.
With the beanie.
Oh my god, the beanie's right there.
Detective Beanie San.
We sit down and watch the show, and it's like, hey, look, there's my leg, and that's it. It's just like a 1 second shot of his like leg. Maybe it's a severed leg, and the rest of him was just like
CGI
photoshopped out in post.
Yeah.
It's just his shin. Like the producers of Terrace House just gave him some B-roll. Here, throw shin in there. Oh man.
But yeah, like,
let's see if he gets it.
Yeah, and here, Kaori kind of prods him a bit more, and it's like, oh, so like, how'd you know you wanted to start to get into acting, right? He describes how he went to school to be a director, but then decided acting is kind of his main calling, I guess. But maybe that's not quite his main calling, because after Kenny gets in the house, shit goes down.
It goes down to clown. So we have our first little tad bit of drama here. I don't think it's super over the top major, but
it's no sock incident.
It goes down. There's an argument.
It reminded me a lot of Boys and Girls Next Door, the dream judging from Yuki.
Yeah.
It reminded
Boys
me
and
a lot
Girls
of
Next
that
Door.
scene.
Boys and Girls Next Door with Tap.
Wait, you mean in the city?
In the city. In the city.
Oh, in the city, yes.
Next door.
Oh,
in
sorry.
the city.
I was really
Where
confused.
are they?
I was like, wait, we've never seen
somewhere.
that.
There's somewhere in Japan. It might be next door. I don't know. But no, yeah, like Tap's whole dream police thing. That
Right. Yeah, it was definitely that sort of spat.
right.
It's a difference in philosophies,
For sure.
right?
Yes.
So it's the old guard versus the new generation.
Yeah. So
Right. So
let's break it down.
let's set it up, right? You've got Haruka, who is definitely an older soul. She is the first to admit that, right? She calls herself a grandpa. Earlier in this episode, she mentioned she likes golf and racing cars. She's very old at heart. And she mentions that she thinks the best way to get a career and to be good at your career is to find that set of skills that you're really good at and work at that, like just that skill.
Being dedicated.
Be a master at that, because then that will open up jobs for you.
And also, one of her points with that too is that, in order to be like respected and just well thought of publicly, is to be focused and dedicated to one thing. That was another one of her points too.
Shohei,
Which was kind of,
the exact opposite, essentially. He thinks I should be able to feel like I can do whatever I want to do, pursue whatever I want, whenever I want. I don't need to master anything necessarily, but today I can feel like painting, tomorrow I can feel like acting, the day after I can feel like writing. And he does all of those things, which, sure, whatever, I guess. But his whole thing is that, and he went as far as to say, people who think that you have to only focus on one thing will die out soon anyway.
Oh, which is not true
That was-
because Japan has the longest lifespan on Earth. They ain't dying anytime soon, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. You got like another fucking 100 years at least.
Yeah. So at that point, up until that point, it was like, okay, this is just turning into like a disagreement of philosophies, but like to go as far as saying like, oh yeah, no, people with the mindset will die off soon. Fuck those people is basically what he's saying.
Yeah. It's like he's been
And-
listening to Slipknot a little bit too much.
Well,
it was a little much.
like that's just saying this is I have the right opinion. Every other opinion is fucking wrong.
And
is basically
you'll
what he's
die
saying,
for
that
having
phrase.
not my opinion.
Yeah.
Because like no one was helping themselves during this. Like Shohei went too far with that comment, but then she wouldn't let it go. Haruka was just like would not let it drop. And I think, was she the one that said like I cannot leave an argument unfinished?
No, that was Risako.
Risako.
In the interesting then, because she sure as hell isn't letting this go.
Yeah, I mean, so what I like about this argument is you have the two opposing forces, right? You've got Haruka on one side and Shohei on the other. And then you have Kaori, who is, my understanding is she's mostly on Haruka's side. She does agree that, yes, you should find that one skill that you're really good at and focus on that and turn that into your career. And she uses herself as an example, right? Where she used to be a businesswoman at an IT company and also do illustrating, right? But she didn't want people to think illustrating is something she did on the side. She wanted people to think, that's who I am. That's what I'm good at. If you were to ask me to do one thing for you, I'd want it to be drawing something, right?
Right.
That's why she took the leap, quit her business job, focused only on being an illustrator, built up her Foxco brand, and that's where she is today.
She dedicated herself to it.
Yes,
She
to the
threw
one
out
thing.
all secondary stuff. Yes. So she did what Haruka's talking about.
Right. But she's at least understanding of Shohei. Like, she doesn't call Shohei wrong or think he's dumb or anything like that. She's just, like,
No.
oh, I understand where you're coming from. I just think from experience, this is how I see the world. Right.
And I think, in my opinion, I think Shohei was the one that was like kind of in the wrong with all of it, because if he hadn't said such a tone deaf comment as he did about like, hey, those people are gonna die off soon, because that's like you're saying Haruka is gonna die off soon, like people like Haruka. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you're just fundamentally wrong there, dude. You're just trying to shove your own opinion down other people's throats. It's okay to agree to disagree. That's not what you're doing here.
And it's like what Tokui said too when it went back to the panel. Like, if you had some evidence to show us, of how successful you are approaching life the way you do, then maybe we would listen to you more and take you a little bit more seriously. But it's just kind of dismissive. I mean, that's the look that Haruka has at the end of it. She's like, fuck you, dude, whatever you say, I'm done with this. And like, there was no like common ground. It was just like, okay, there's a line in the sand, and there wasn't any like kind of, again, like, common understanding there.
I don't understand why we couldn't like just be let's agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. Like, what works best for you is going to be different than what works best for me.
Right, because it wasn't so much an argument as it was at the end Shohei putting himself on a pedestal above other people.
Yeah. When I think about someone who dedicates their life to something, like their entire life to something, I think of Jiro, Dreams of Sushi. Mm-hmm. Anyone seen that?
Yeah.
One of my favorite documentaries.
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about.
Of all time. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. Hopefully it is. That's where I saw it. But man, this guy, I mean, he's got a little restaurant at like this bottom of, I don't know if it's an airport or parking garage or whatever. It's like nothing, right? 10 chairs is like a 3-month wait to get in. It's like $400 or $500, I don't know, something like that to eat there and just get 10 pieces of sushi. But this guy like dedicated himself his entire life, and it was just such an inspiring story. So I don't know how you could disparage that kind of philosophy. I don't know, because he was just so inspirational. Yeah. So maybe I'm just thinking out myself, like maybe I'm probably on Haruka's side on this side of the argument here.
I mean, I see both sides of the argument, right? I think it all just depends on the kind of person you are. Like, there are some people who do need to jump to different skills to feel like they're engaging themselves in life, right? Because life is all about engaging yourself. If you're not engaged, what are you doing, right?
You're getting married.
Thank you. But with Shohei, he needs a lot of things to keep him distracted. Maybe he has ADD, maybe he doesn't, maybe he just needs that constant change to feel good. That's fine, right? Haruka is very different, clearly, right? She focuses on the one thing and she wants to be good at that one thing. It's so different in terms of mentality that I think trying to compare the two isn't a good idea, or else you'll get arguments like what we just saw. Right? Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. It's apples and oranges.
Exactly. Because, Haruka kind of hounds Kenny down a bit, right? She tries to get Kenny to,
oh my gosh,
for sure, tell me your thoughts. Because she asked him once, Kenny, what do you think about this? And
that's the thing. There was a natural ending to like this, and it was like, okay, we're putting this away, and then it was like, no, I want to hear what Kenny thinks.
Well, yeah, because she says that at first, but then Kaori's done making dinner, and then dinner's brought, and everyone's eating it, and it's like, oh, this is good. Yeah, Kenny, I want to hear your thoughts, Kenny.
Well, she does ask permission to like bring it back up too.
Yeah,
which I guess.
Yeah, she does say, "Can I bring up what we're talking about earlier?"
But who's gonna be like, no,
Yeah.
stop
Right.
it at this point in their relationship?
Yeah, you're right. Like it's gonna go there pretty much, and that's where it went. And we need also to remember the reason why this incident on episode 2, baby, of fucking Terrace House, we have our first incident, is called the Tempura Incident, is because of the way it ended, and that's with Shohei saying it's like tempura.
I like
you can't have it 10 days in a row. You're gonna get sick of it. Like,
he says, I like tempura, but I wouldn't eat it every day. And it's like, well, no shit. But that's like comparing apples and oranges to jet fuel.
Yeah.
That's
very reductive,
it has nothing to do with anything.
and that's where Haruka had that great expression, like, whatever, dude, what the fuck, I'm done with this now.
Yeah.
But to my concluding thoughts here is that, of course, like, I think people should pursue all their interests, you know what I mean, and go with where their passions are. Like, I do think, like, to what Shohei's point was, like, it's possible to do a bunch of things and excel at them. Like, of course, I guess it just matters on where your bar for success is, right? Like, how successful do you need to be in order to consider yourself a success? You know?
Yeah.
So there are people out there that just seem to do everything. I mean, look at Elon Musk.
Right.
You know, he's diversifying his skill set. He's getting shit done, as an example.
I think Kenny's response, though, is pretty interesting, right? In that, one, he actually reveals a lot about himself here, which I liked. He explains that in his 20s, he was going to school for cosmetology. He wanted to be a hairstylist, which is very cool. I would not have expected that just by looking at him, but like, it's interesting that he's revealing and divulging this information. But then he goes on to say that, sure, I went to school for it. That's not what I ended up doing. I changed my careers later in life, probably later than most people should, but that's because he felt in his heart that music is his thing, for sure. Like, that's that one skill that Haruka was talking about for him, right? Where he's like, this is the skill I want to put at the top of my resume.
He was a late bloomer with his career, and I can definitely relate to that.
Right.
Yeah. I think an important point that he made too was that he was like, I didn't see any point in like trying to be the best hairstylist in all of Japan.
Right.
It's like there are definitely some paths where it's like, even if you work very, very hard, it's pretty, I guess, unattainable, almost like too much trouble than it's worth to try to be like the best of the best. Like, it was interesting to me then that no one asked Haruka, it's like, are you trying to be like the best actress in the world then? Are you throwing yourself at it like 100%?
Well, I didn't get the vibe that this discussion was about you have to be the best at the thing you're trying to be good at. I think it was just more that,
how many things are you trying to be good at?
yeah, that.
Is it
and
one
also,
or many?
what's the point of trying to be good at something you're not good at? Like, what's the point of pursuing a career in a skill that you aren't good at?
And also, like, this also reminds me of the tap incident, right? Like, dude, you can't expect someone to know, like, as early as you know what direction you want to go. You know, like Tap knew he wanted to be a tap dancer like early ass in life, and good for him. Like, hey, that's awesome for you, but like, that's definitely more the exception than the rule. I mean, your frontal lobe doesn't even stop developing until you're 25 or something like that. Like, you got to figure shit out, and you got to be allowed. I think the most important thing is be allowed to make mistakes and fuck up a little bit, you know, to really find out where,
a little bit.
Yeah, to really understand where you need to go in life. I think that's a healthy way to go about it.
Yeah, and it's just both in the tap situation and in the Tempura incident, and it's just not fair to assume that everyone shares the same philosophy as you. Everyone approaches life the same way as you. Everyone has their own path in life. Everyone is going to discover themselves in their own way. And the way you live your life doesn't have any fucking consequence in anyone else's.
Obviously, Shohei, he is not really adhering to traditional Japanese societal norms, it would seem. And he seems to resent that, right? He has a very hostile attitude towards that other philosophy, right? Of dedicating yourself to one thing, which is why he said what he said. And also, to Yama's point, people that feel that way often try and justify, right, their thoughts by putting it down. You know, like, well, that it's fucked up, and that's why I'm not going to do it because that's wrong and I'm right. To your point earlier, Robert.
Yeah. I just think they need to cool it. Maybe Shohei more so than Haruka.
Cool it.
But like Haruka's done. I think she's at that point where like Haruka Shohei ain't gonna be a thing ever.
I mean, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think this did to maybe Kaori Shohei prospects? Because I kind of felt like he reduced his stock here to everyone at the table.
He reduced his stock with everyone.
I would say so.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of become the lesser villain right now.
Yeah, because he showed his hand, and he showed that he's, at least in some ways, closed-minded.
He has the capability of saying some shitty things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I love that at this final panel bit, I'm pretty sure Yama said that he thinks Shohei will cry on this show. And I'm so excited by that prospect because I don't think it's going to be like O&D Shohei cry where he's so sad he's leaving. I think it's going to be like a vindictive everyone in the house doesn't agree with you kind of cry. And this may be mean to say, but I really want to see that.
I didn't believe it. I wouldn't have believed it before this episode, but now after seeing this, like I could totally see that happen.
100%.
This isn't the end though of this
crying
episode.
Shoheis.
Yes. Yeah, you need one every season now.
Right. But there is a little bit more here because of this final scene in the living room where everyone's there except Haruka because Haruka is already in bed because she needs to play golf at 4 a.m.
Oh my gosh,
What
this
the
lady, man.
4 a.m.
She is something else.
What the fuck?
Like of all
She
the
is
sports,
something else.
No, golf isn't even a sport. Why?
Yeah, like it's not like she's going fishing. I understand waking up early for the fish.
Guys, I didn't go to bed until
Maybe there's
4
a
this
commute.
morning.
Maybe, yeah.
Or maybe you hit your best balls before the sun rises.
That's maybe you do.
That's
Robert.
what I always say.
That was my best ball I just hit.
But yeah, so Haruka's in bed and the other 5 are just kind of chilling, doing their own thing on the couch. And this is the first scene, actually, we get to see Risako like talk to the others in the house,
Right.
which is wild. But she's kind of just throwing out there like, I've got nothing to do this weekend. Hey,
Come on, boys.
And then you see in her head, she's like spinning a wheel.
Come on,
Ruka,
somebody.
do you want to come with me this weekend? You want to hang out? You want to do something?
Dude, this was so cringy. Ruka is so bad at this, guys. I don't think it's an act.
No.
He is very
I
bad
thought
at
it
this.
was cute.
No, this is why it wasn't cute. Because how does it go? Robert, go ahead. Continue. I'll jump in.
So Ruka is obviously taken by surprise, like, sure. And Risako asks him, hey, think of something to do. And as Ruka is getting redder and redder by the second,
yes.
he suggests a movie. He should have stopped there, but he went on to say,
let's go see a movie.
What about the Detective Conan movie? For those who do not know, Detective Conan is a very long-running anime about a 7-year-old boy who has like a 30-year-old man living inside him, I guess, that does detective stuff.
It's like Big and Law and Order.
Yeah.
Like, mixed together. But
It's also, I think it's the nostalgia factor too is why like grown people also go and continue to see Detective Conan.
No,
it
sure.
is like a common, like
100.
it's a popular show, right? But I did watch some of it just to get the flavor for it. It definitely feels like it's more skewered, like young adult audience, teenager. Yeah, that's the vibe.
So
that's the tone.
here's the
I got
thing.
of it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would still totally rock seeing Pokemon
Yes.
2000
Yes.
right now, right?
Yes.
But
I saw that in theaters.
But not necessarily as a first date with a girl. Or I don't know-
who says she
That's
doesn't.
fair.
Who says
That's
she
fair.
doesn't want to watch it? That's my point we're getting at right now. So she's like, I'll watch whatever. And he goes, how about Detective Conan? And she's like, oh, never mind. I take that back. And then Kaori is like throwing the motherfucker Haruka a bone. Like, dude, pick a different movie.
Yeah,
He
you
goes,
should pick
but
a
I
different
really
movie."
want to see it. I've been looking forward to it. and then Risako gives in. It's like, fine, I'll try new things. It's fine. And then he just is totally oblivious and clueless here. He's like, good, I've been looking forward to it.
I'm gonna jump in here.
Child.
Ruka, you made a mistake, dude. Seeing a movie in general was not a good idea.
Dinner
Seeing
and a
a
movie
movie-
would have been okay.
What's that?
Dinner and a movie would have been okay.
Dinner and a movie would have been okay. Seeing a movie alone, I'm having Eden Kai flashbacks, Yusuke
Yeah.
flashbacks.
From Aloha
We'll
State.
see if it happens, but
Yes.
don't force a girl to go to a movie she doesn't want to go to as your first date.
See,
And
that's
this is a date.
that's the kicker. Not only did you make the mistake of only going to the movies, because going to the movies is not a social fucking date. It's a terrible first date. It's awful. But you picked a movie she doesn't even want to see. Dude, come on.
Yeah,
And it says a lot
it was
about
cringy
you.
to watch.
Right. I feel like if you're someone who would still go back and watch Detective Conan or Pokemon or whatever, right? That's fine. I'm not shaming you for that. I don't kink shame or anything. But and, I think it's fine to have that nostalgic tie to the things that you liked as a kid. And I also think it's fine to reveal that to the person that you may or may not like. That should not be the first thing you reveal to the person that you may or may not like, though. I feel.
I'm gonna go see Pokemon 2000. Let's go.
Unless you meet them at an anime convention or something, sure. But this is weird. This is like meeting them at a dorm in college, and the first thing you say is, "Hey, you want to go see a Detective Conan movie?"
Oh, two things are revealed here. Okay, Ruka's cluelessness. Terrible at reading the room. There's a term for that. I forgot the term in Japanese, but there's a term for your ability to read the room. He don't have that skill yet. Thank you. He don't have that skill yet, and he needs to get it. And maybe he will by the time his time here at Terrace House ends. The second thing we learn is that Risako seems kind of desperate to go on a date.
Yes.
If she's gonna agree to this, it's just like, man, I feel bad. I feel like she got like the scraps right with this date.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she feels like she's playing kind of like a game of catch up here, where it's like everyone else has been in the house, like physically in the house more than I have been, and talking to each other and making plans. I want to make plans. Someone make plans with me, please.
Yeah. I don't care what we see.
Ruka's the only one without a date right now.
No, she does have a date now.
He has a date now.
It will be I'm very interested to see how this Detective Conan date goes. Of all the dates, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most. It could be the most entertaining.
Here's what's going to happen. We're going to get out of Detective Conan. They're going to walk down the stairs from the theater, and Haruka's going to say, and he's going to be like, oh, do you want to, like, I don't know, grab food or something? Wiggles toe on ground and twist foot and, like, hands behind back, awkward, like, nervous. Mm-hmm. Hey, you don't want to go get food? And she's going to be like, I got to go have dinner with my grandma. Okay, bye.
Then we're going to have the world's loneliest.
He loves grandmas. He'll go.
He'll be like, I'd love to meet her.
He's like, your grandma?
Can I go away? Can I come with?
Can I meet your grandma? Your grandma, my grandma can meet.
Do you want to meet my grandma?
Grandmas love me.
She's great.
Grandpas hate him.
Grandpas hate him. You won't believe number 4.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like that date's gonna crash and burn, and it's gonna be so juicy and good to watch. But I feel
yummy.
so I'm gonna feel so bad for Haruka.
Y'all, I'm gonna give him more credit. Maybe the movie will be bad, but I don't think his company is terrible.
Slightly off topic, but I just realized Daly hasn't seen the sad Yusuke scene.
No, not yet. Quit spoiling.
Quit spoiling.
Yes, stop it.
No more.
I'm giving Risako a ton of credit here, and you're right, Daly. I agree. I'm not giving Ruka any credit because he hadn't earned it yet with me. But Risako is trying. Bless her heart, she's trying to salvage this shit.
Yeah, I mean, Risako just comes off as nice generally.
Yeah.
So I
like her.
Yeah, I'm hoping this leads to more just Risako being in the house, because I want to see I want to see her go on the date. B, I want to see her talk about the date with the other girls in the girls' room, because that's going to be such a choice scene, I feel like. And then C, I want to see Haruka talk to the boys, and I feel like he's going to like read the entire date incredibly wrong.
They have very different experiences.
Yes.
And listen, I talk this shit because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll be the first one to admit it. But I don't think I'm wrong here. But if they're the couple that ends up blossoming into love, and it all started from the shitty Detective Conan date, then I will eat my crow. That's fine. I just don't think I'm wrong here.
Right.
We'll see.
We will.
We'll see.
So as we get closer to wrapping this episode, any other predictions y'all have about what's going to happen moving forward here? Because I feel like Shohei's just going to keep making more enemies.
I think Shohei is going to unintentionally become the shit stirrer. It's not going to be a Yui situation. It's going to be one of those things where he's going to learn that it's going to be a Natsumi situation.
I'm still hoping, I'm sticking to my guns here. I'm still hoping Haruka and Risako make some waves, get some drama going. I'm hoping for that. That's my prediction.
I think Kenny and Haruka, I'm very curious to see how that first date goes, because I feel like Kenny, his heart wasn't completely in it.
What?
No.
What? I don't believe that.
I think for both of them, it's kind of a wait and see thing. Haruka was more adamant about going. Whereas Kenny, I think he's just gonna, it's a wait and see thing.
Who did Kenny? He was smitten by that car, but who did Kenny say he liked? Was it Kaori?
He never said who he liked.
He didn't.
No. But so the reason,
I think, to me, of the three couples, I think that Kenny and Haruka have the most physical chemistry going on right now.
I mean, like, granted, it's still very early, right? But I just think
they're the flirtiest.
Like the way Haruka told Kaori, she was very, butterflies in the stomach, kind of, like, oh, doesn't it make you swoon when a guy can teach you how to play guitar, right? But for Kenny, when he was telling Ruka, he was like, hello, Sir Ruka, this is a business transaction. I would like to inform you that I will be going on a date with the girl that you like. End transaction. Like, he wasn't excited. He wasn't happy. He was just like, hey, this is happening.
That makes total sense to me, because he's trying to downplay it because he's talking to Ruka. He went, bro, I can't wait. I'm going on this date with this girl you like. He's playing the cool dude. So to me, that doesn't reveal anything yet. We will find out, though. Hopefully, this next episode we get to see all three dates. Hopefully.
We'll have to see.
I think Kaori's just going to turn Shohei. Like, they're going to go out, but then it's going to be like, yeah, I don't really see this panning out romantically, but you're cool.
Yeah.
Because she's just the epitome of grace at this point, and I love her.
I feel like none of the guys are good enough for Kaori.
No one's good enough for her.
She's kind of the female Hansan so far. I can't find any faults with her
comparison.
yet. Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully we don't get any. Hopefully she's just awesome the whole time. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't see that one going anywhere, guys. And I just think Ruka just doesn't know how to date yet. We'll see.
I think that this is going to be a learning experience for him, and I think that was the plan in his intro interview and his chins and shins.
Right.
Will he get over? Okay, after it's all said and done, will Ruka get over his red-facedness?
You mean like whenever he eventually leaves Terrace House?
Yes. Yeah.
I think it'll be easier for him, but I don't think he'll completely get over it.
Who knows?
Yeah. I think it's just like part of who you are at that point.
Yeah, because
you get embarrassed easily.
If he were still 18, I'd say maybe, but by the time you hit 20, I feel like that kind of thing is so ingrained into who you are and what you do.
He's been out in the world a bit.
Yeah, I think
like it would have shut off by now.
Yeah, I feel like he'll find better ways to cope with it so he can still function like an adult in society. But I still think he's gonna have to be very cognizant of the fact that, like, oh, that's a girl. Like, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been saying it as like it's a crippling thing, but he is very much able to function. He just smiles and blushes a lot is all.
I don't think it's crippling at all. I mean, I think it's just getting girls swooning. I think it's turning him into a very hot prospect among the women.
And then he suggests Detective Conan.
So maybe he shouldn't try and turn it off, because it's working out in his favor so far.
Fair enough.
That's all I got.
But I think that does it for this week's episode of Tadaima. Thank you so much for listening. Yes. If you enjoyed what we did this week, please feel free, tell a friend, spread the word, let them know. Tokyo 2020 is such a weird, awesome season of Terrace House so far. And, let them know that we have this companion podcast that might maybe, elucidate and give them a different way of thinking about the show. If you don't want to,
we hope you're having a great old time.
I like the word elucidate.
Thank you. If you don't want to tell a friend, maybe tell a stranger by leaving us a review on iTunes. It would help us out a lot, since we're a very independently run podcast. We do everything ourselves. And so it just, every little bit helps, helps us get things off the ground a bit more.
We're just 3 wee lads and 1 wee lass.
Lads
and lass. Okay.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying.
But yeah, no, every little bit of support is appreciated. We've also noticed, there are more of you guys subscribing to us on YouTube. That is so awesome. Like, thank you for that. It means a lot. And we hope that we can keep giving you awesome content that you guys will really love. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, theories, any theory you have on who you think, well, actually don't tell us that, because you all probably binge it to the end. Don't spoil anything. But if you have any questions or comments for us, please email those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. You can catch us next Tuesday when we talk about episode 3 of Tokyo 2020. But you'll have to wait till then. This is
one last thing. Sorry. Discord. We started a brand new Discord.
Yes.
And it is brand new and it's small right now, but not for long. Jump on that. We are going to be doing like Discord exclusive stuff. So look for that.
Yeah.
And my phone's ringing. Sorry.
Yeah, that's down in the description below or in the show notes. You can check out the link there. And also just the link to all of our other social media if you want to follow and tweet at us and Insta. Can you Insta at people now? Is that a thing?
Wait, what?
Can you Insta?
You can mention people on Instagram.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, all that's down in the description or in the show notes. Check them out. This has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itakimasu.
If you enjoy our show, please like, comment, and subscribe, and ding the bell to receive notifications when we publish new content. Follow us on social media and check out our brand new Discord server linked in the description below.